Hello everybody! Recently, I published a new comic book called Dear Alice, and today I'm going to share with you guys how I got this comic book to be published on Amazon KDP. This video isn't necessarily just for comic creators that want to publish on Amazon KDP, but this also applies to writers as well. And the video would make more sense if you already have your manuscript, your cover, and everything done. I'm just going to show you guys how to set up an Amazon account and how the process went for me as well. Basically, the reason I chose Amazon KDP is, first of all, the printing. Printing to me is not the best quality, but it is nice that it is print on demand, so this means I don't have to hoard my books. And I know that there are many other websites out there that also do print on demand, but I chose Amazon KDP just because it seems like a more globally, I don't know, I feel like everybody has an Amazon account these days. For shipping, most of my audience are from the US, and being someone that's not from the US or EU region, it would probably take me like $30 to send the books to my customers. I also chose Amazon just because of the customer service. I just find it less stressful when you have a middleman between you and the customer. Basically, whatever happens, they can contact Amazon. They want a refund, they want an exchange. It all goes through Amazon, and I can just focus on editing the books. Formats, although limited, it is the standard. You get a hardcover, you get a paperback softcover, and you get an ebook. Finally, marketing. I chose Amazon because there is an option to advertise with them, although I didn't go for it because I feel like my book is not within the popular genre region, so I decided to self-market myself. But also having this option to advertise with them is also kind of a good option. Now, once you've decided you want to use Amazon as your book publisher, we can now start the process of setting up an account. Basically, you go to kdp.amazon.com, and once you have made an account there, you should be able to see your dashboard, which has the bookshelf. Basically, this is where all your books are going to be. The report, basically your analytics for your sales of your books, community, and marketing. Basically, you get to advertise with Amazon here. Also, I just want to talk about the payment details really quick. If you go to your accounts at the top header here, and you can click on getting paid to have your payment details set up. Personally, I'm not from the US, so I decided to go for Payoneer. They do take a bit of fee, but it's fine for me. As long as they can provide me an account number and a routing number in the US, you know, I'm all good. Now that you have your personal details keyed in and set up and whatnot, let's start setting up the book. If you go to the details page, you can fill in the details for your books pretty much by the book here. Basically, the language, the name, the author, this should all be able to be filled by you. The next part is where it gets a little bit tricky. The next part is the content page. And first of all, I got myself a free ISBN. You can make one yourself. I made my book black and white with white pages. And I will be honest, it looks a little bit faded, just based on my experience. Maybe not necessarily you're going for black and white, but just something to note that if you're doing black and white, it will look a little bit faded. The size of my book is 8.5 times 5.5 inches, and I'm choosing no bleed for my book because I already have the panels set up and it's not going to be touching the edges of the page. Finally, I gave my book a matte finishing cover. Do note that matte finishing tends to get really dirty quick, but for me it just looks good in black and white, so that's why I chose it. Now let's move on to the hardest part of the book publishing process with Amazon, is the manuscript. One thing to note with the manuscript is that you can use any type of software to do this. For me, I use Adobe InDesign to storyboard my manuscript. If you're a writer, you can pretty much just do this on Google Docs and whatnot. If you would like a more in-depth detail on how I use Adobe InDesign to storyboard the manuscript, let me know in the comments. But pretty much after you have your manuscript all done here, I use these settings to export to Amazon. I also chose RGB colors for my comic instead of cmyk. You can watch this video here for more information on why I did that. To be honest, the manuscript part is where I was stuck the most. I think it took me like 2 months just to figure out their system and whatnot. And mainly, Amazon is quite gatekeepy about their margins and errors, and you're not necessarily dealing with a human here. It's basically an AI that Amazon created that tells you what pages of errors you have. You can choose to contact them about these issues. For me, I didn't have to. I just worked around their errors and whatnot, and basically I was able to do it without contacting anyone. Once you have your manuscript uploaded, you can now decide on your cover. Now, Amazon does have a free cover creator that you can choose to use. For me, I use Adobe Photoshop for my cover, and I basically had to get a cover calculator. They have a cover calculator. You type in the details and whatnot. You gotta make sure it's accurate, and you can download their template and you can basically do your covers based on their template. And one thing to note is, despite having very accurate dimensions and margins from Amazon calculator, they still managed to not be able to do it 100% well. Mainly for my hardcover, there is this weird white line that they're not able to align properly, and I swear I've done it accordingly to the template, but I think this is just a human error when they bind the book and whatnot that is just unavoidable. Finally, you get to decide on your pricing. In the last page of your content details, you will get to see how much the cost of your book is going to be. And the royalties is basically up to you, how much you would want to get back and whatnot. How I determine the price for my book is I just surveyed Amazon on webtoon comics out there and see how much, they be pricing their books and whatnot. Finally, once you have everything set up, you can request for a proof from Amazon. We send you an email once it's ready and you can check out and buy your proof. It takes about a few days for you to get it depending on your location. But since I'm outside of the US, again, I could not get my samples. I talked about this in another video, but I was... Luckily for me, I have friends that live in the US and the EU region, so I was able to ask them to help me receive my samples and just take pictures and videos for me. Yeah, I want to thank them for their help. But yeah, this is one of the samples I got from my EU friend, and this is with the not for resale sign. This is the sample. This is the first. It didn't have the logo back then, as you can see. The new one has the logo and whatnot, and it doesn't have the not for resale sign. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty good, even though it's just a sample. In conclusion, it took me about 5 months to revamp the book, and yeah, it took me about 2 months to get it working on Amazon KDP and whatnot, the manuscript, the covers and everything. So yeah, it is going to take a long time, but it is so rewarding when I go on Amazon search bar and I search for my book and you can just see your title pop up. I think that is the most rewarding part for every book publisher. But yeah, I hope this tutorial was helpful. Let me know in the comments for whatever section of the video you would like me to make in-depth video for, or you can just let me know in the comments if you have any questions that I would try to help. In the future, I would also like to talk about how I got the book published in Malaysia and how I got it set up on websites and how I ran marketing ads for it and whatnot. Let me know in the comments if you're interested and I'll make a video faster, hopefully. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Check out my comic book if you haven't. It's called Dear Alice, and I will link in the description below. Basically, it looks like this. It's available on Amazon, and I also did a self-printed one in Malaysia for the Southeast Asian people. But yeah, if you're outside of Southeast Asia, you can get it on Amazon and whatnot. I'm quite proud of it. It's my baby. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Bye bye.